Welcome to the GP Llama YouTube channel and to some new hardware today announced by Zwift. Now this is something we haven't seen on the market before, and this is the Zwift Ride. A fully adjustable indoor smart frame with a single speed drivetrain and some intelligent controllers built in, similar to the Play controllers, for virtual shifting and in-game control. Now the Ride is compatible with any direct drive smart trainer that supports the Zwift protocol for virtual shifting, but for the initial launch later this month, the Ride will ship as a bundle with the Wahoo KICKR Core 1, meaning it will arrive as a complete indoor bike setup. Now jumping straight to the pricing and availability, because this was a standout and not what I expected when I learned about this product. In the USA, you're looking at around $1,300 US plus shipping, Euro $1,300 plus shipping, UK $1,199 plus shipping, Canada and Australia, yes, you are on the approved, will be shipping on launch list. That will be via wahoofitness.com at the pricing there on screen. Now I covered the pricing and availability early on because I think that will be the talking point for this. It really does rival the Stages SP20 when that was on its fire sale, closing down sale of $13.99 over in the US. Okay, with those out of the way, let's get into the details about what this is all about. So not technically a smart bike or a smart frame. The smarts are still in the trainer and in the handlebars. So depending on your definition, potato, potato, tomato, tomato, smart bike, smart frame, call it what you want. The Zwift Ride Play controllers or levers are very similar to the Play controllers that we know, but with more buttons and more options, which I'll go through in just a few moments. The Ride controllers are bonded and paired together as one single Bluetooth device. Very handy for Apple TV. Similar to the Wattbike Atom, the Zwift Ride comes with fixed length cranks of 170mm. They do list a square taper bottom bracket, although it says non-standard in some of the technical doco I have here. I'll do a teardown in a few days to find out just how customizable things are for us hardware enthusiasts. The Q factor is 150mm, so pretty standard there. 42-tooth chainring. The chain is a KMC Z1 single speed narrow 3/32. There's a chain tensioner built into the frame, so we can get the bike on and off, being a single speed. The saddle width is 158mm. It's a grooved type saddle with no cutout. The Ride comes with 42cm width handlebars and a 31.8mm clamp. The rear dropout is a 142mm through axle. The through axle is a coned type 12mm with a 1mm thread pitch. The Ride comes with two drop-in open cage bottle holders, which work quite well. There's obviously no rough terrain indoors. The Ride has a built-in accessory or phone holder up the front, and there's also an aftermarket media holder you can purchase as well. Flat pedals are supplied, and that's where they stayed. And all adjustments, including the through axle, is done with the Zwift key, which is magnet mounted and stored under the top tube just here. Some of the extras on the Ride are a floor protector under the bottom bracket, a chain holder up the back if you're moving things around and don't want that chain to dangle on the ground anywhere. There are USB-C cable holders, and the front decal can be changed. Onto trainer compatibility, which I quickly touched on in the intro, and obviously the Wahoo KICKR Core 1 bundle will be supported by this frame. And if in theory we were to get the frame alone, it would be supported by the Zwift Hub 1 and the Wahoo KICKR 6, both supporting the Zwift protocol and virtual shifting. Onto the unboxing and building of this unit. Now thankfully companies are making these videos themselves these days, meaning I don't need to become an unboxing expert, allowing me to cover all the details, not the how-to when it comes to building this thing. Look, the only thing I needed the manual for was the handlebar installation. One thing of note is the bike is very heavy and can be a little unstable if you're holding it with one hand, so best scan the QR codes on the box and follow their instructions. There's also a quick fit reference card and associated markings on the bike, so you can get your fit pretty close to where it should be. But there's always going to be some personal preferences there to be tweaked later on. The adjustment options on the Zwift Ride are the saddle height, the saddle fore and aft, the saddle tilt, bar height, bar fore and aft, and bar tilt if you want to get a little tricky. The frame has an effective top tube of around 54.6cm, but with the adjustability, that's just a number, and you'll see why in just a moment. The seat height minimum is 605mm, the maximum is 864.7mm. The minimum reach of 390mm effectively gives you a bike with no stem, meaning the top tube length doesn't really mean much with the adjustability here, the maximum being 509mm. The bar height from the bottom bracket, minimum 599mm, maximum 761mm. Now if I've missed anything in these measurements, let me know and I'll try and answer them in the comments. Now with more buttons on the controllers, we have more virtual gear options in-game. So the Zwift Ride has 3 shifting logics, sequential, Shimano and SRAM, and also 4 options to choose from for your virtual cassette or your gear range. And the drop buttons on the bottom of both levers have 2 customizable assignments. I've also been using a Zwift Click as a climbing shifter too, and that works really, really well on the ride. Onto my on-bike ride experience, and after a few tweaks to the setup, including tilting the levers up just a little bit, I was good to go. I've done a number of training sessions and Llama Lab tests, and as it's on a Kickr core, there's nothing really new to dig into with the numbers there. I've covered the core upon release many years ago, and again recently when Zwift virtual shifting support was launched. One thing I was concerned about though was the drag from the tensioner causing drivetrain loss between the pedals and the trainer. A quick backwards flick of the cranks here shows that things spin quite freely. In fact, probably better than some of the bikes I have outside. Alrighty, onto some notes covering off a few questions that may come through on this one. Are you locked into Zwift with this frame? Kind of. Similar to the Zwift cog and virtual gearing, for sim mode you'll need to be in Zwift. For erg mode, any platform is supported because obviously you're not changing gears. Next, can you install your own saddle? Yes. Handlebars? Yes. 31.8mm clamp. Cranks? Maybe. Square taper, but as I've mentioned, they listed as non-standard. I'll rip it apart shortly. Chainring? Maybe. It's a 4-bolt 104 BCD. Again, when I rip things apart, I'll do another teardown video. Rocker plate? Yes, obviously. When it comes to maintenance, chain servicing, yes, I guess that'll be a thing every now and then, depending on the environment that you have the bike in, but there's not a lot of contaminants indoors other than sweat dripping straight down. So depending on the ride environment, you may need to service the chain every now and then. Bottom bracket is an unknown until I get to the teardown, and you will need to keep the ride play controllers charged via USB. I believe they've got around 20 hours or so. Next up, are they selling the ride without the trainer? Not initially. Stay tuned on this though. Okay, so that's the ride from Zwift, their new indoor smart frame. I'm really keen to see where this lands and keen to hear your thoughts on this as well. Personally, I thought this was going to be priced a lot higher. So high, in fact, that people would say, look, this is just a waste of time. I can go and buy a bike and a trainer, some play controllers and call it done. But doing the quick back of the napkin math, the Kickr Core, $650, does come with a year of Zwift though, that bundle. Play controllers, $99, a Walmart bike for around $400. Look, you're pretty close to $1,200 or $1,300 as it is. It's definitely not half the price doing it yourself. So I think this will do quite well, similar to the Zwift Hub when that landed for $499, which is now $599, which is now $649. But that's just the way things go. Look, obviously it's also off-season in the Northern Hemisphere, so this is going to be a bit of a slow burn for launch. But let's see where this ends up. My experience on it has been pretty good. I'll happily keep that sitting here in the Llama Lab, ready to go anytime I want to jump on. And I'm super keen to get stuck into those customizations. Yes, I've already been on AliExpress to buy some handlebars. For around $50 US, I have some carbon bars that I probably wouldn't ride outside, but they've got some flair on it. I do like flair on handlebars indoors, especially for sprinting, so you don't smack your wrists. And they're aero, but aero doesn't count comfort-wise. I find these so much better. So I'll be doing a hack, installing these on the Zwift ride in a few days. Stay tuned for that video. All right, and with that, we'll leave it there. Hopefully you found this informative. If you have any questions, again, about the sizing, about anything else regarding this bike, drop them below in the comments. I'll do my best to reply. As always, if you found this informative, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe to be across more videos uploaded to this channel, and thanks for watching. All right, yes, I'm not doing trick shots.